All right, we're getting ready to go live. We got Clayton Turner in the big seat. Another week, Everything PEO coming at you. Thanks for tuning in.
To the pros, making agents and business owners smarter every Wednesday on Everything PEO.
Hello, 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 Tampa Bay listeners and beyond. You've got Everything PEO on Podcast Radio US Tampa Bay. Still getting used to it. I got to be honest, looking out the window, seeing the dark there, it kind of messes with me a little bit. You know, there's something about waking up, starting your day in the dark, finishing your day in the work in the dark. Little depressing, but like anything, we've got to turn the page and keep the show rolling. In the studio this week, Clayton Turner, a dear friend of mine, got a new business venture to tell all our listeners about. Pretty excited to get into it. How you doing, my friend?
Great. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Always. I know this is, you've been a true guest to the show and a contributor and doing your second lap through something real newsworthy. So I thought it would be just a good time to get the word out a little bit on the airwaves. But before we do that, we always take a moment and thank last week's guest in the studio, Tim Russell, co-founder, founder, I believe, of Enterprise HR, one of our show sponsors and contributors. He's been doing a good series with us once a month, getting in here. Always enjoy Tim. Looking forward to getting him in, one more back before we take kind of our winter break, if you will. But you can always catch clips of the show on our Facebook page. We've been putting a lot of work into our YouTube page, Everything PEO. Throw it in the old search engine. I would imagine it pops up from time to time. But Clayton, so what was it? Late summer you were in here, right? Yep. I know Contractor Training Center. It's kind of neat how, right, you get these contractors licensed. We insure these contractors. I always felt like that was a good parallel to bring you on the show. Certainly parlayed your success with Contractor Training Center into your new venture called Leadly. It's an AI powered receptionist and small business tool. Let's talk about it, my man. Get into it.
Yeah, cool. So Leadly is basically, it rides on your website and your social media pages, and your phone intercepts your phone traffic. So missed calls are a thing of the past. If somebody misses a company misses a call now, you get a text back saying, "Oh, sorry, we missed your call. Do you need sales or service?" Website visitors now can go on and talk and ask intelligent questions and get intelligent, responsive answers based on that company's niche, whatever they're in.
Yeah, I think AI, obviously we're on an AI craze, and certainly some industries are impacted by this more than others. But in the world of, I swear on LinkedIn now, I see a virtual receptionist ad probably 50 times a day. There wasn't that long ago that was the new hot item. And it's become very, vanilla now that it's out there a lot. So Leadly, how is this going to be a differentiator? How are you going to disrupt the market? Let's get into it.
So the big companies have gotten good at employing this technology. So now if you you're going to take a Delta flight and you need to reschedule or something, you can go right to chat. You can talk to them. You don't have to call anymore. This is the same technology. People are more internet savvy about wanting to schedule something online. If their HVAC breaks down on a weekend, they're going to go online. They're going to Google a HVAC company within a 2 to 5 mile region of their house. They're going to look for one with good reviews, and they're going to look for one that you can schedule now for a Monday visit. Nobody's leaving voicemails anymore, filling out web forms and waiting for a Monday callback. That's going away. People want immediacy, convenience, and this is Leadly allows small companies to afford to be able to employ this technology and capture those visitors and that traffic, book appointments, and book return back calls or sales calls.
I think that's a great point, actually. Even with our own sales reps, no one leaves voicemails anymore. No. And I think everyone's kind of gotten to that point where when they jump on a website, that bot pulls up, "Hey, how can I help you? Where can I be of service?" I'm not huge into those in the sense that I feel like, you type in what you need and then you get like a 1 of 3 answers. And sometimes it takes a long time, and sometimes you get the call and sometimes you don't. But we actually just had a guest on a couple of weeks ago, Tobin Robeck. I don't know if you caught that show with Construction Casualty Insurance. And he created an AI tool called Comp Correct. And essentially, for any business owner that's navigating the path through workers' comp injuries for their employees, their claimants, if you will, This tool will help get out your notices faster, your follow-up visits, notices that you've returned to light duty and what parameters, and really just it's about speed and timing, right? Sometimes these injured workers are at home on the couch 2-3 weeks. They have a visit to go see a specialist. Maybe they didn't check their email. They haven't been in their computer, and things get missed, and then you got to reschedule 10 days out. It was kind of funny hearing this story. He said, well, we put 50, 60 grand aside to build this tool, and 3 years later, we're 7 figures into it, and it's still ever evolving. But I feel like he was a little bit ahead of the curve in that sense that this was kind of before the AI craze, right? ChatGPT has set the record straight, and it's infiltrated almost every industry now. But what they're boasting here is if you use ComCorrect, and he bills it out almost like a PEPM, a per employee per month bill, that if you use this with your employees while navigating the claim landscape, we will keep, it's called your loss pick, right? Essentially, your carrier designates a certain amount of funds to the claim down by 50%. Right. And so you keep your loss pick down, you keep your rates in line and keep them competitive. And he's had a lot of success with it. He really thought this was going to be something he would license and sell it to the big boys. And it just really didn't take off that way. Now he offers it more as his shiny tool that every other insurance agent doesn't have. By using CCI and our ComCorrect model, we set you apart from the pack. And I think that was kind of neat. And I'm assuming that's where you're going here with Leadly. So what was the inspiration behind this? I know Contractor Training Center, you help these folks all over the country, right?
Yes.
Whether they're getting a GC license, a trade license, however that process works. I'm sure that's a long navigatable slope to get through. And with CTC, you would help get through that faster. This is quite the pivot. So where did the dream start, my man?
So I had unique insight to all the contractors and trades people that are our customers at Contractor Training Center. And one of the main pain points they have is with catching phone traffic, catching web traffic, social media posts. Like people will go out and make comments on their social media pages. They don't have the staff to monitor it, man it, anything. So what Leadly does, it captures all of that. It allows them to have one dashboard. One person can maintain this. The AI chatbot will take care of most conversations, turn them into either appointments or callbacks. And it's so much easier to let AI do its thing. And it's so smart now. Only 2 in 10 of the contractor and home services and legal, elective medical, dental, only about 2 in 10, maybe 3 in 10 have this technology. But if you don't have it in about a year from now, you're going to be left behind. So it's not too early to go ahead and employ AI technology for your website, for your phone traffic, for your social media pages. But if you don't do it within a year from now, you will not be competitive anymore. So now's the time to start thinking about employing a solution like Leadly.
So break that down. Is that not because it will be obsolete, but that just because a year from now you'll be one of the masses?
Well, people are starting to expect convenience by when they're shopping and they want something, they want it now. They want to know that they can schedule something now. They want to know if they can get an answer right now. And they won't go and leave voicemails anymore. They won't fill out web forms and hope for a response back in a day or 2 or 3 business days. That's going away. People want immediacy. They want convenience, and they're ready to purchase, by the way. And Leadly will allow you to capture credit cards. If you have something that you want to sell or book an appointment, if you want to deposit to book an appointment to ensure a no-show, that there's not going to be a no-show, you can capture a payment there as well. People will pay for convenience. They will not do the old school way of leaving voicemails and waiting for callbacks. And I mean, there's a certain percentage of shoppers, and I did a lot of surveying before I did this. There's a 55 and up, they rather call and talk to somebody. I had dinner with somebody the other night, and he's like, I just rather call somebody. I'm like, well, you are 55 and over. 25 to 55, most of those people want to do everything online. They want to book it online. They want to get an answer now. And that's what Leadly does.
Well, you're listening to Everything PEO on Podcast Radio US Tampa Bay. In the studio today, Clayton Turner, discussing the new launch called Leadly. That's LEEDLY.com. So hold on a second here, man. Unlike the normal traditional chatbot, did I hear you that this thing is all interactive in the form of even taking payment?
It will take a payment. It will schedule an appointment as well. I can see your calendar. I can integrate with almost every software that's out there, including QuickBooks, including e-commerce, including Service Titan. Anything that you have that is a calendar, if your company is already using a CRM, is already using a schedule software, I can talk to it.
No kidding. So is this a one of a kind?
No, but it has unique in that I can integrate with anything. I can talk to almost every software you have out there. I can look at your calendar. You don't have to change everything. We're just put a dashboard in your office that you look at and you see all your leads, warm, hot, cold, schedule now. It's going to put calendar appointments on your calendar for you. And it's so simple and easy. And once we train the bot and tell the bot what your service is, what your business is, we deal with almost every niche you could think of that books appointments, home services, legal, elective medical. We know how to talk that language, and the bot will guide the conversation to a solution, a schedule visit, or a schedule appointment, or a paid service.
No kidding, man. I think we're at the time when every business is, familiar with the call service, right? Again, we've seen that AI chatbot popping up on the website. I've never really heard it be so encompassing. This is doing essentially 5 tasks in one.
That's right.
Unlike the call service, which again, maybe it's 24 hours. You're using people overseas. Sometimes there's a language barrier there. I would imagine it could be expensive. This kind of, I hate to say, and I say this about PEOs all the time, right? We don't want to feel like anyone's replaced, right? Someone still has to hire and fire the staff and train the staff and track the hours and turn in the employee packets. The last thing we ever want when we're going in and bringing a PEO to a business owner is that the wife who does the payroll feels replaced, right? It's never that at all. I would imagine this could be a challenge with Leadly in a sense. Is that really how you're angling it? By using this service, you don't need the call service anymore. By using this service, you don't need necessarily a third-party merchant provider. We do it through here. Have you gotten that far in the pitch on it yet?
Yeah, absolutely. Call services are way more expensive than Leadly. Leadly is way cheaper than answering services. Those are actually very expensive, and they're not as effective. People don't like leaving messages anymore. They know they're not getting the best service, and they'll probably go to another provider if they're shopping around, and they know they're leaving a voicemail or they're leaving a message with an answer service. Leadly is a quarter of the cost of all that. Plus, companies are struggling with personnel. So you come in on a Monday, if you got 14 voicemails to return, 20 email web form, inquiries, social media posts, that takes a lot of time off of a company's, and they end up ignoring a lot of it, missing a lot of it. And I call it Monday morning mailbox money. They come in Monday morning and their appointments are booked. They've already, Leadly's already swiped cards for them, already booked appointments. And it's just so much easier, and customers love it because it's convenient and it's easy.
So what is we got about 2 minutes here before break, but you mentioned the customers loving it. So what is the landscape of it? I mean, is it just any business that takes a call in? Or I know CTC was very much pointing to the trades, and I'm assuming you have a target audience with Leadly. Anyone listening, right? And that's kind of what this is. We call it Everything PEO, but really this show is more like Anything Entrepreneur. And Podcast Radio US Tampa Bay is formerly Money Talk 1010 AM. This is largely a business talk radio station. I'm sure there's some business owners in the Tampa Bay area listening today. What is that target client, if you will?
Anybody who books an appointment, everything from landscape companies to HVAC companies to lawyers to elective medical companies we have. Anybody who has a calendar and books appointments or books pre-sales calls or consultations, Leadly will handle all that for them, from their missed phone calls, to their website traffic with the chatbot, to their social media posts that a lot of them are ignoring and not responding to. Leadly will capture all that, turn it to a conversation, turn it to a booked appointment, and it takes nothing of the personnel's value. The entrepreneur is allowed to focus on their work.
Sure. No, it's amazing. There's one thing, obviously computers have been around a long time now. They really just kind of like internet and all that hit the scene right as I was kind of in high school, right? Maybe late middle school, early high school. I'm a little younger than you, I know, but in the sense that I never, I was always just that blue collar salesman at heart, grind it out, dial for dollars, the old Earl Nightingale, Zig Ziglar approach, right? And I always wished that I had gotten a little more techie. Now, I live on my laptop all day long, right? Emails, Excel, it's my whole world. But at the end of the day, I'm not the guy that goes in there and scrubs it and defrags it. And I really, really wish that I would have took more of a technology approach coming up. And I see what you mean, right? AI, it may still be very new, but imagine what 2 or 3 years from now, the businesses that don't take the time to really make AI a part of their approach, their pitch, the toolbox, if you will.
Convenience.
Yeah, convenience in a big way, affordability, efficiency. There's so much in there to unpack. We've got plenty more with Clayton coming after the break. Stick around. That's Leadly, LEEDLY.com. If you're interested, check it out. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
All right, we're back. Thanks for sticking around.
All right. We are back. You've got Everything PEO on Podcast Radio US Tampa Bay. Clayton, my man.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we are getting into it. Leadly.com, new AI powered intelligent receptionist for small businesses out there. So I think we laid the landscape of the tool and all the goodies pretty good there before break. So I guess if you really to sum this up, like almost like an elevator speech, what would you say that Leadly's doing for companies that they aren't already doing?
So most companies already know they're busy making money, and they know that there's missed opportunities, that there are missed phone calls. There's a lot of companies won't even answer phone calls because a lot of those calls are spam or salespeople. So they just throw it to voicemail or throw it to answer service. So all those voice missed opportunities right there, just on the voice side, that's a significant amount of money to companies, and they know it. And they recognize it. If you talk to any small business that's, even if they're successful, they're like, yep, we know we're probably missing some phone traffic conversions. Leadly captures that, vets out the spam and the salespeople trying to call and sell you something. And if it's a customer, you'll ask them, do they need service? And it'll put them through the process of getting service. If it's a new customer, it'll ask them, it'll onboard them, basically get them ready, prepped and ready for a sales call, or it will go ahead and take their credit card information and book an appointment for them. It'll say, here are available slots for the next few days. Pick one of those times, and then go ahead and give us your information and swipe the card if you want, if that's what your business requires.
Mm-hmm.
So they know they're missing money on missed sales, on missed phone calls. That's a huge amount of money that businesses are missing. And then web traffic, they know on the web traffic too that they're filling out forms. It takes 2 to 3 days to get back to them, maybe, or at the end of the day. Well, people are going and shopping right now online, especially the new last 2 generations. They go on, they look for a company, they look for a service provider. It's very competitive. They can see your Google rankings, and which, by the way, Leadly helps increase Google reviews as well. Because after the service, we go out and ask for a review. Nice. And so they look at the service providers, they look at the reviews, who's available, and when you have that book now calendar link on your Google Maps page or on your homepage or on your social media pages, and it says book now, people love that. They're like, oh, this is convenient. I don't have to call anybody. I don't have to talk to anybody. I don't have to leave voicemail. I don't have to fill out a web form and hope that somebody will get back to me in the next 2 to 3 business days. By then, they're already moved on. It's competitive now. People want convenience. They want to book now, schedule now. They'll pay now too. That's the other thing. Monday morning mailbox money. They'll pay now. So that
makes sense.
Yep.
Now, this may sound a silly question, but I think we're at this era where so many businesses are at the time where they may not even have a traditional landline, right? Whether they're running the business off their cell phone. We have something at PEO Advisors called Freedom Voice. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but when you call this 800 number, it sounds very much like a high-end phone system, or maybe even a voice over IP system. But essentially, when you hit the extension, at that point, it just dispatches to all our sales reps' cell phones because they're out in the field. I want them hustling. They're not sitting at desks. There's no desk duty per se. It's, go out and get your grind done. So if the business is being ran off of a cell phone per se,
it's perfect for us. We handle that as well. And if you have multiple salespeople, we do the round robin, what they call it. So if somebody wants to speak to a salesperson now, it'll round robin, it'll call everybody that's available. And if nobody's available and doesn't pick up, then it'll take the conversation back to text, and it'll say, sorry, nobody's available. And it'll go we book you a callback, and then I'll ask them to schedule a callback, or you'll be in the queue for a callback. So it lets them know somebody's going to take care of them, and they don't have to just leave a voicemail anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Those days are gone.
Mm-hmm. Now, as far as CRMs, or what's the benefit of a Leadly versus like a HubSpot or a Salesforce? I know there's a RIN DNA. There's so many of them out there these days, and I certainly don't think all are created equal. We started on Salesforce, which at the base price was affordable, but by the time you would customize it to the PEO industry and the categories, and then, oh my goodness, the online storage, it very quickly became an unaffordable CRM. If Salesforce is listening, I apologize. Just speaking off of experience, but does this mimic almost like a CRM to some capacity?
That's a great question. It is a CRM. It's a intelligent CRM, and it's a quarter of the cost of most other CRMs. And that's why we are killing it in the small business world with this, because Salesforce is too expensive. HubSpot's gotten too expensive. Even the other CRMs that people are using that are to their industry or to their specific niche, those are even getting way more expensive than they should, because once they got a lock on you, they start raising prices. And then every time you turn on a feature or add a user, you're paying thousands now. For the most businesses, leads under $1,000. For now, we'll get more expensive as we add more features and more convenience, but right now in introductory pricing, it's less than $1,000 for most customers, and we're doing 30 days free trial, so you can try it for free without any commitment, without any contract obligation. Salesforce, yes, they're good for big companies, and they're charging a ton of money, and we are taking over all the SMBs it's too overpriced for these small businesses that we're helping.
So how hard is it for, if they've already got the chat bot or something along these lines going, or a CRM established, et cetera, how hard is it for these businesses to transition to Leadly? What's that look like?
Super easy. That's one of the easiest parts about it, and the good sales points, because once you say go, we just take over. We'll put the widget on your website, and then we'll route it to make sure that you don't have to do anything other than you'll get a dashboard that says, here's a warm lead, hot lead, cold lead, and give us your calendar, and we'll go ahead and book those appointments for you. So it automates as much of that process as all the business that you're missing, all the callbacks that you're having to do, all the manual processes you're having to do. We're going to automate all that for you. So 90% of it's going to be automated.
Sounds pretty slick, man. I mean, telesales is, I think, in trouble, right? With all the capital. I mean, and I don't know about you. I'm sure you're getting it, and I get that every, end user is an entrepreneur. But if you own a business, you're getting 10 calls a day for capital funding,
yes,
ERTC credits. Obviously the SBA and the PP stuff has cooled down, but for our sales reps, calling B2B has never been more problematic.
Yeah. In fact, a lot of companies just, they've given up on trying to answer their phone calls. And it's because it's gotten so much spam and so many sales calls. So now they're just basically saying, okay, leave us a voicemail. Well, people are not leaving voicemails anymore either. They're just going to hang up. They're going back online. They're looking for your competitor right down the street who has good Google reviews, which Leadly does, by the way. And they're looking for somebody who has a book now link on their Google page and on their website. So once you have that, you put yourself at a competitive advantage above your competitor, which in a lot of cases just right next door, right a mile away. So you have to offer convenience for the new generation of everybody that's shopping now or is looking for convenience. They're not going to leave voicemails. That's going away. You got to have a book now button, and this is what Leadly does.
It's funny. I feel like a good amount, I don't know if it's quite half, but a good amount of the business owners that we end up calling, their voicemail box is full anyways. I mean,
they're still using their cell phone too.
And how many recordings are you hearing? Do not leave me a voicemail. If you need to talk to me, send me a text. Right. So I think this goes right in line with all of that. So, you're listening to Everything PEO on Podcast Radio US Tampa Bay. In the studio today, Clayton Turner, my dear friend, show contributor.
Yes, sir.
Got quite a little tool here. So this is fairly new.
No, AI has been around for a long time. It's been about 4 years. This software, this technology has been doing what it's doing. I have basically taken it and putting my Leadly overlay on it, some integrations and pieces. So the software's already proven. Go to Delta Airlines, go to any of the major corporations. They're already using it because they can afford it. They afforded all the development of it. I took what I could off of that, learned, took the model, and then made it for small businesses. Now it's affordable to small businesses, and it's a lot cheaper than the HubSpots of the world. It's a lot cheaper than having a receptionist in your office calling back people on Monday morning or workday mornings, and then it's way cheaper than all of that. So
yeah, that would always bother me when you called the Betty of the office, if you will, and she's like, "Well, I left it on his desk. I put a note out there."
You got to automate as much as you can now. That's the key to being competitive and yeah.
So what's the feedback been like? I guess when I meant new, as in not necessarily AI, but Leadly itself is fairly new, right?
I'm launching this. We've been developing it over the last 6 months, and basically have taken the best breed of the AI technologies, pulled them all together. I've been all over the world pulling engineering teams. I've got people all over the world that have been working on this, and we've been testing and rolling out and doing betas and having customers trial it. It's been awesome, and the feedback's been great. And it's a game changer. It's so easy to use, and it automates most of your processes that you would have to normally have a person get involved with.
So what's the runtime? Like if a business owner heard this on Podcast Radio US Tampa Bay today and called you tomorrow, how quickly to have it up and running and operating for the business?
Usually within a week or two, depending on how much so the good thing about Leadly is you can choose a good, better, best package. You can get a la carte. You can get everything. You get just the chatbot if you want. You get the chatbot plus the phone interceptor, basically that'll grab your phone calls. So you can start small, or you can go get everything, and then that'll take 2 weeks if we put everything on there. Your social media pages, because we got to coordinate with your people who give us your to allow us permission to get to your social media pages, your web page, and all that. So usually it's about a week to get this app up and running.
Not bad.
Yeah, no, we're good. We got it down. That's what we've been working on for the last 6 months. Just SOPs, standard operating procedures, getting all the checklists done, getting it efficient, making it so it's like painless for the customer, because we don't want the customer to have to go through a whole bunch of stuff to make it so successful. We'll take it over. Just let us put the widget on the website, and we'll start intercepting your phone calls, and then we'll feed them to you, and we'll let you know when there's something that sales are coming through. It's beautiful.
I think that's, if the wheel isn't broke, don't fix it. And Mark Cuban used to have this line where back in the day, you've probably seen this clip with Reels and everything else, talking about these businesses that just go down the rabbit hole of R&D and market, logo creation and research this and research that. But at one point, you don't have a business until you have clients. Like, get in there. If it's working for someone else, you take the best of.
That's right.
And I've done that here at PEO Advisors. I had a great mentor, and has certainly been around some other great brokers in this business, and what they did well, what I liked here. It's kind of neat that AI is at the point where you've been able to build your model for Leadly in largely the same capacity. Like you said, I know you've been kind of going all over the world with your exit at CTC. Good for you. I'm quite jealous.
It was a lot of hard work, but
but that's what it's all about.
I loved it. And man, I got so many great clients, and my former staff and team and employees and partners. I just miss them all, but I love them all, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity. And now this is going to be a new venture, and I'm glad to be able to listen to services small businesses that because that's my realm. That's how I get it. So
yeah,
they're paying.
I've always enjoyed that too.
I'm a solutions guy. I love making fixing things and solving problems and making people happy in their business. So this is a good thing for me.
What's the vision?
So I'm going to create as many integrations as possible. I want this to be as seamless as possible and I'm looking at other opportunities to help small businesses with other pain points that they're having in their businesses, right? That I can help and that I can make an impact on. This is the first thing, and something after that I can't disclose right now, but it'll be something along this lines that in the same realm.
Evan, you just had to say it, huh? Well, that's what it's all about. Being able to launch, right? And then continue to add those services on one by one. It's where you can really build an enormous value.
Yeah. And anytime you can help businesses solve a problem or fix something or automate something, it's and not have to charge an arm and leg for it. And that's where it's a game changer. So it's always a good thing to be able to offer something and get that wow reaction from a customer. It's go, wow, that's cool. I love that. That drives me.
Yeah, believe it or not, it's still, I know PEOs have been around since the 70s. And it's rare. A lot of the business owners in Florida, we're at the point where they've probably heard of it, or at least a Paychex or an ADP. But it has that same after effect when you go in there. Just let it happen. We take over your back office. We do all your state and federal payroll tax disbursement and claims management and no audits. And wow, this is great.
Yeah,
Thank you. Right.
Good.
And there's a good parallel here.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to kind of see that blueprint. It sounds like, even though it may work for any industry that has inbound calling, you're still pointing it towards the trades. Is that fair? Is that what I'm getting?
No. Anybody who has to schedule an appointment, legal to elective medical, you think of anybody who books an appointment. We help. If you have something that requires of course, the trades and the construction and trades, that's a key one right there, because they got so much incoming calls, and they're the ones that struggle the most on it. I just have to have an insight on that business because I saw their pain points. But so does electric medical, so does attorneys, and retail. And we just brought on a client today that's got a what are they doing? The shared office space. So that's a retail location. They're doing shared office spaces up in New York, and we got them. We closed that one this morning. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's still out there. We actually just put on a company a few months back called Responsive Answering Service.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I think there's more the traditional call center for hire, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or, after hours.
Yeah.
And they had roughly 80 employees scattered over 6 states. So there is still that demand there. But I think almost one layer at a time, this is going to take over that market. I hate to call it a dying breed, but there's just certain industries that AI is going to level out.
You have to pivot. You have to use the tools that are there for you. AI has changed the game on a lot of different things, on content creation, on automation, and this is the best of both worlds right here. So, and you do have to pivot. If you don't have a Chat GPT account, you should go create one and go play with it. If you're writing something, if you're creating something, if you're ideating anything, you're trying to come up with an idea of doing something, Chat GPT is your friend. just give me some ideas. And it's just awesome.
It's amazing. You can even tell it whether you want it to be written in first person,
Right.
third person, from a fifth grade level to a collegiate level, and it spits out so fast.
When I was in the construction side, I used to say, talk in the voice of Mike Rowe, because, you can relate to that. And,
Got jobs.
It did a great job of that too.
Yeah. I actually was at the $1 Million Mastermind back in June, and they had, do you know Billy Jean?
Yes. I just saw him in Dallas 2 weeks ago.
He had a whole segment, and it was pretty eye-opening. I mean, the circles he's running in out there. He was courtside with the Lakers at the playoffs right before the season ended.
Awesome.
It was mind-blowing just to see how many different. I mean, he's like, watch this, and I think it was like he had Frank Sinatra voice singing a 50 Cent song.
Oh yeah, he did that in Dallas. I saw that.
Yeah, that was pretty slick. All right, we've got one more segment coming back with Clayton Turner. Stick around. Just a little more to peel on this Leadly. All right, we're back on with Clayton. One more segment to go. Thanks for listening today. All right. We are back. You got Everything PEO on Podcast Radio US Tampa Bay. In the studio today, Clayton Turner, dear friend of mine, has parlayed his success with the sale of Contractor Training Center and has founded Leadly, an AI-powered intelligent receptionist for small businesses. So, Clayton, I feel like in 2023, we're at the point where even if you're not a social media specialist, you've got to take the time to go down that path. It's an unlimited Rolodex. It's there for everyone. And I know you've got a big IT and marketing background, but why do you think social media is still a miss for some of these folks?
Social media it seems to be like the thing that gets most neglected in a lot of companies, because it's out there. People are asking questions and interacting on their social media pages, and a lot of times those are getting ignored, or they're getting answered 2 to 3 days later, or sometimes a week later, because those inquiries. It's kind of like, well, I think businesses look at that like, is this a tire kicker? Is this somebody that's just making comments and trying to engage, or do they really want a solution? And Leadly will actually turn that into a conversation and answer questions and forward that off if it's a real true inquiry or potential sales for a company. He'll treat it like that. And if requires more attention or they want to call back, then they'll put them in the queue for a callback too. So it can actually schedule. If you have a sales team that that does pre-sales or does qualifying calls, then it will also queue those up as well. So
Yeah, I think it's big. Like I said, we had Tim Russell in last week, founder of Enterprise HR, one of our favorite PEO relationships, and he kind of makes the joke why he loves 5-man operations, right? Because 4 of them have the same last name. They're all, father, son, wife, relative kind of businesses, and they don't, file claims on themselves. And from a profitability standpoint, why he enjoys that. But I think it's for that very same reason. They're all on the job site. They're working. Maybe they have someone helping, maybe they don't. Or their sister-in-law comes over 2 days a week and helps them with paperwork. I mean, this tool is meant for that business.
yeah, and so one of the things, the pain points that I had insight on for small businesses is they would talk about, they're out in the field, they're doing the work, they come back, they start their callbacks, right, either that night or the next morning. And one of the big, or they'll do their forms. Somebody left filled out one of their web forms, and now it's in their email. And so one of the biggest complaints is when they call the people back, either the people don't answer or they say they found somebody else. So half the callbacks they're doing have dropped off or more. And now they've spent all that time to do the callbacks only to find out that that potential lead went on to a competitor who was able to book that appointment now or take the call now, right? So that was my light bulb. I was like, oh man, this really is a missed opportunity. And most businesses know that they're losing out on converting incoming traffic, whether it be web traffic, social media posts, inquiries, or missed phone calls. They know that they're missing sales. They know it. Most of them know it. And they know that when they do the callbacks, if half the people or more don't answer, or they say, sorry, I moved on, that's tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes per month, depending on what business you're in. And so what this does, it legally allows the conversation to continue. Even if you didn't get it, it allows the customer to ask questions. Legally will intelligently reply, and it will offer available times. If the owner says, I only do callbacks, or my sales team's available only on, from 3 to 5, legally will offer them time slots based on availability for a callback or schedule a meeting, schedule a inquiry, schedule a phone call inquiry appointment. So you tell us what available times you have to talk, and legally will book those for you if somebody needs to talk to a human.
No, that's huge. We have brokers like this in our industry. Some of them want to go out and door knock and cold call, and they're just old school in that B2B approach. The larger approach that we take, certainly here at PEO Advisors, our model is partnering with insurance agents. I feel like even in the AI world and trying to be as efficient with this stuff as you can be, there still is a moment where, and maybe it's more prone to insurance, but they'll buy from you if they like you and they trust you, right? And so we feel like if we partner with the insurance agent, they can't write the workers' comp for whatever reason, but they say, hey, I can't do it. I'm your trusted advisor. Work with Evan, work with the team at PEO Advisors. They're the next best solution. Just that vetting process in itself is really all you need. It stops being a numbers game. It stops being a sales. It's just getting them to understand, hey, you're going from a standard market policy, entering into a PEO relationship. Here's the differences. Here's how it all washes out. And that's great. And then you have this third batch of agents out there, or I should say, brokers, if you will, and they're all SEO, right? And they love it. They get hundreds of leads a month. They're clickbait happy. They're proud of it. Our Erin Cornick, our executive producer, she has this broker, and they get literally 100 leads a month. Their closing ratios, though, are very low. There's no built-up relationship with this person. It's literally who can call the fastest and who can do the biggest discount. And they're baffled on how we're converting 6 out of 10 in a normal sense. They're converting 1 out of 50, the how, the what, the where, the why. I think even in this moment, right, you can't get back to it fast enough.
Yeah, and you're adding more value. You're adding more services and value and relationship. So more than it's like a corporate entity, right?
Down goes the water bottle. If anyone heard that, maybe it sounded a lot louder in here than it did there. Down goes the water. Anyhow, so yes, I believe that if you're going to go that SEO approach, something like this is almost a must.
Yeah, and so SEO and to that point, Google reviews are even more important. And I encourage anybody to go out right now. If you're an HVAC provider in Miami, go and Google HVAC services in your zip code in your area. See how many competitors come up against you. See how many reviews you have versus how many reviews your competitors have. Because that's the most important thing that people look at now. How close are you, and what kind of reviews do you have? If you have 15 reviews at a 4.5 rating, and your competitor has 250 at a 4.8 or 5 rating, then it's consumer intuition just to go with the one that has better and more reviews. And Leadly also allows, after the sale is done, after the meetings are done, after it's all over, Leadly will go out there and ask that customer, did you have a good experience? And if they said no, it'll route them back to you and let you handle the unhappy customer before they write a bad review on Google. If they said yes, they had a great experience, it'll route them to Google. They can rate you a 5-star review. You can go from just a handful of reviews to dozens of good 5-star reviews on Google. Google Maps is using reviews for ranking now. So the more reviews you have, the better you're going to be ranked. You don't have any fresh reviews, you're going down, being suppressed down in the search results.
You're talking like from an SEO optimization?
Yeah, you brought up SEO, and I had to go there because that's what, listen, it's one of the main things that helps these companies rank is reviews. And that's the final part of what Leadly does with the sale. After they book, after they finish the service, we go out and we ask for a Google review. And that any new Google review helps you keep your rankings fresh and keeps you actually boosted. You don't get any reviews, you're not being competitive.
That's a massive final step.
Yeah, it's one of the best. Actually, it's the exclamation point on everything that it does is like the final thing is, hey, also your customer loved the experience because we made it easy for them to do business with you, to book. You just have to follow up and do your service, do your part, make sure they're happy. And then Leadly will go back after the sale, after the service, and ask them to give a good 5-star review on Google.
Yeah. And I think we're all at the point where we've seen that business. Give us a like, give us a share, right? But certainly in the more blue collar, some of these examples we've provided on the show today, they complete the job, they finish the kitchen remodel, the paint, they're on to the next. If they don't have that back office team soliciting that, so just to have that organic growth. But I had no idea that based on your reviews, we'll get you up the chain from a search engine optimization standpoint. But it is so true. I mean, I think we're all at the point where we've shopped on Amazon, right? You're looking at 2 or 3 options, right? I want to get a canopy. Going to go straight to the reviews. It makes sense.
And if you're searching for a lawyer, you're searching for a home services company, a landscaper, you're going to look at somebody that's in your zone and how many reviews they have. It's just natural instinct. That's how we shop now. And that's, a major differentiator with businesses now is because consumers look at those reviews. And sometimes they just look at the rating. They're like 4.5-star reviews versus 12.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
Which way you going to go on that?
And I'm funny, I've gotten into that just a little bit, but I don't look at like the top 5. You got to go straight to the bottom. What was the worst review and why?
For sure. Oh, I love that. Absolutely.
Right.
Was it because the owner yelled at me or because they wouldn't take my call?
He said he was going to call back in an hour and he didn't.
There's a lot of angry consumers out there and
should have had Leadly.
We fix that.
So anyone listening, right? Again, we've got quite the little reach here in the Tampa Bay area. Anyone that's been hearing this, wants to get some info on this, what's the best way to get with you?
Leadly.com, LEEDLY.com. We are free for 30 days trial, no obligation. Let us do everything for you. We'll take over. We'll have an onboard meeting. Get your information, and we'll have the bot up and running within a week. Usually, the phone traffic missed calls, we'll take care of that as well, and get you some reviews going as well right after that. So it's super easy to get started, super easy to employ, and you get this integration to all your current systems. You don't have to change systems. We'll give you a dashboard that'll say, hey, here's some hot leads if if you want to call back. These leads are hot, and you'll have the option of at least classifying those. If you didn't catch the call, or if they insist on talking to a human, then you'll be notified of that. They'll be in the queue for you when you're ready to talk to them, or your sales team's ready to talk to them. You'll know who's hot, and you'll already know what they want, what they asked about, what their needs are. Sometimes they'll even go deeper than that. What model is your product that you need service on? What is your case that you need help with? So they'll get all that information for you and make it easy for the callback. You're armed with all the information you need before you even have a callback.
So how hard is it, or how long is, obviously you've got to build out these rebuttals with the chatbot based on the industry. I would imagine all things are not created equal there.
That's correct. And so that's a good thing about the models. And that's why I'm glad I'm starting now, not 4 years ago, because now those models have already been trained. So I'm just taking the best of the best and I'm pulling them into play. And I'm like, hey, give me something that talks legals. Give me something that talks service companies. Give me now I have to say I just brought on the shared office space in New York. That is kind of unique, but still we're going to handle it. We're going to train the bot to answer the basic about shared office space questions. We'll train it very easily. Thank you, ChatGPT. And so now when somebody wants the shared office space, or they want to come in and take a tour, it'll allow them to book a tour appointment time. It'll let them know the different plans and packages and pricing. If they have a question that's like, can I have this and or that? We're going to train the bot how to handle most of those exceptions. Once in a while, they'll have to get involved and, somebody has something very difficult or complicated question, but it'll schedule all that for them. So now it'll just be on the calendar. They don't have to do callbacks and they don't have to do email return. Let me return the email and then have 40 conversations with this potential customer.
Man, I've got light bulbs going off all over the place. So like the co-op, they get to see the tour of it. Could this parallel for, say, a realtor with their listing?
Yeah, Realty is one of our biggest ones now too. It absolutely does that, and it integrates with the MLS service too. So you can actually put your own listings up there and have your own page, and everything's already funneled out.
Amazing.
Yeah, and we convert your current Realty website to a lead funnel site, basically on your domain, and we'll talk to the MLS.
Solid. Seems like you thought of it all, my man.
Yes, sir. Well, listen, we've been at work harder than this for a while, so it's all come together now.
Well, let's give it to them one more time. Anybody that's looking for an AI-powered intelligent receptionist service, get with my man Clayton Turner at leadly.com, LEEDLY. Brother, I think it's limitless. I know you're 6 months in, but you're a builder and a disruptor. I'm excited for you. It sounds like some industries are so niched in a sense. It's pretty nice in the PEO space. Anybody that has employees is a lead to us. It keeps it pretty wide open. And I feel like this is something that almost every business could find, whether they have all 3 tiers, 1 tier. We're all at the point where you're a business, you take calls, right? Responding quickly is the name of the game.
Yes. And
I really feel like you're onto something here, man.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the feedback. It's been fantastic. People love this. It's a game changer. It's not the price is very affordable for small businesses, and we are absolutely making people very happy that their back office, normally which they would dread tasks, are now automated, and the callbacks are done, scheduled, and the web inquiries and the email inquiries and the web form inquiries are all handled already for them. So it's really helping small businesses be efficient, and it's basically a game changer. And I'm loving it. Feedback's just great.
Yeah. It sounds pretty remarkable. I like anything, I wish I was a little more techie. I've got to get on this AI train and kind of one show at a time. That's what I'm trying to do here. So, well, we're going to switch it up a little bit next week. We're actually going to pre-record our show. I will actually be out of the country, missing Thanksgiving with the family, but I will be overseas, hopping the pond and spending a week over in London. So we're going to pre-record the show. No live stream for next week, but there still will be a show. Kelly Anderson's coming on, co-founder of Florida Resource Management. We're going to do a whole lap through professional claimants in the workers' comp space. how to prevent fraud, kind of the 4 tiers of fraud when you're battling an injured worker. Lots to unpack in there for business owners. You'll want to check it out. You know how this show ends. Love God, appreciate your staff, be kind to your PEO, and know we're on a 167-hour break.
Awesome.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in today. We appreciate you. Clayton's the man, LEEDLY.com. See ya.
Business gets smarter. Tune in next week.